I want you all to think back and think about how life would have been 30 years ago. When I imagine that picture, the biggest thing that comes to my mind is no technology. There might have been some things that were back then, but it strikes me as the biggest thing. I wouldn't have seen like iPhones back 30 years. Another thing that I also think about when someone tells me to look back 30 years is how I wouldn't be here talking about my talk. 50 years ago, or 30, us teenagers, we didn't have much of a voice. We were overlooked in schools and media and in society in general as just kids who have nothing to contribute. But look at what we have now. 30 years ago, my parents used to do such simple things. They didn't have technology, as I said, so they just used to find simple ways to entertain themselves. And a lot of times as kids, they just run around the playground, playing tag or any other game with their friends. But look at what we have now. There are 14-year-olds advocating for climate change. So I want to ask, how did that happen? So I looked into it, and the simplest answer that I could find was the internet. Now, as the internet has risen, we've come along with it. Technology was being created. Maybe the first iPhone came out when you were born. So we've grown alongside it. So we were used to picking it up. And it was inevitable for us not to find out about some of the things happening in the world. In elementary, you'd always hear the phrase, treat others equally. And when you pick up an iPad, look through the news, or maybe even skim through social media, you'd find out why. So many people were getting mistreated because of the color of their skin, their gender, and what they look like. So, some of us teenagers have seen what's happening. The climate change, maybe the politics even, how we're being treated unequally, and they've decided to do something about it. I'll give you an example. At the mere age of 11, Michaela Ulmer had seen the changes that were happening around her. She saw the great endangerment of honeybees, a species that you might not have even known were endangered because it's so common. We see bees maybe every day. We know they exist, but she found out they're endangered and she decided to do something about it. It was such a simple act, yet it became such a big business for her. She decided to make lemonade and added the honeybee's honey as a natural sweetener. Now, such a simple act, but it made it into big food store chains such as Whole Foods. How crazy is that? And it was such a simple idea. Imagine what we could do if you decided to take on something bigger, maybe plastic waste, climate change, and maybe even was just as simple of an idea. We could change so much. I, over the past month, or a few months, have participated in so many events. I've met new people, done new things, and seen new places. And I couldn't be more grateful for it. And it's shown me how much people actually value our voices. My voice, being a 13-year-old, they care so much. They've been holding these events for us, like this TED event. And the thing that I'm saying is that a lot of people don't know that they have this voice, that they can speak up and people will actually listen. So the thing that I want you all to take away from my talk is that you have a voice. We've created a voice for ourselves over the past few years, and to overlook it so easily would be such a disappointment. Thank you.